Hello and welcome back to video classes by Conor Institutes. Today we will be discussing second chapter from microeconomics, which is theory of consumer behavior. So you might be thinking, what behavior are we studying here, right? So here we are studying the behavior of a consumer. But when I told consumer behavior, it doesn't mean that how consumer behaves in a market or how he talks in the market. This is not what we are talking about. What we are talking about here is how he is going to decide which goods or services he is going to buy, or what preferences, whether he is able to satisfy his unlimited wants with the limited resources, is what we are discussing under consumer behavior. Imagine I have given, or you have got some 5,000 in your hands, okay, as your birthday is nearing. So you have lots of list or the thoughts you want to buy, right? So in that 5,000 rupees, how many of your the unlimited wants list is being satisfied, or how many of them is being you have satisfied, right? So what you are doing is, here you are just prioritizing those unlimited wants with how much importance each needs or each product is, what we are talking about here, right? So in that 5,000 rupees, what you will do? You have the thought of you want to buy a new dress, or you want to buy one pair of shoes, yes, and you want to buy certain some chocolates to give to your friends on your birthday, right? So how you are managing these all the things in so that it should fit in that 5,000, yes? So how you are fitting that all these things into that 5,000 is what we are talking about here in consumer behavior. We are not talking about where you are going to buy, yes, and how you are communicating to that seller. We are not talking about these all the things. Consumer behavior is how you are deciding your wants to be satisfied in the limited resources which you have. So that comes under the consumer behavior, right? So that's what consumer, yes, consumer is the person who consumes goods and services, right? When we are talking about these goods and services, we usually talk about these goods and services in a single word, right? This comes in hand to hand, right? Goods and services. But when we are talking about in economics, goods, wherever you get the word goods, right? It basically or commonly we refer it as goods and services. Just goods doesn't mean only the goods which we define it as a tangible, right? So goods are also expressed as services. So wherever you find goods word in your textbook, it refers to goods and services, both the intangible and the tangible things. And how we are satisfying these goods and services, how we are purchasing these, how we are managing these all unlimited wants with the limited resources, with the help of the income, right? So if we don't have income, do we satisfy our wants? No, right? Because we have list of wants, because list of wants doesn't need any income, yes? So to satisfy that list, unlimited list of wants, we want certain things, certain medium, so that we can purchase, so that we can afford that. So for that we need income. So when we are talking about this income, the goods and services, the unlimited wants, the limited resources which we have in our hands, this all the things gives some trigger to some problems, right? What kind of problem? I had told you before, right? 5,000 you have and you want to buy certain things on your birthday, right? But you have that 5,000. Do you think that 5,000 is enough for you to purchase so many lists which you have made for your birthday? Yes? So that 5,000 becomes your limited resources. So how you are going to satisfy these unlimited wants which you have listed down? There comes the choice. Yes? So what you are doing here is you are choosing in between the things or the materials or the goods and services which you have in front of you. So the problem create, what problem we have got here is the choice. What choice? How we are making this choice? Choice is also based on the likes, or even we can say it as a preferences. When you have unlimited wants, yes, and you have limited resources, and the thing or the want which you want to satisfy there, which is not fitting into your limited resources, what do? You go for an alternative choice, right? So that also becomes as a problem wherein you are solving with the help of the likes or the preferences. Next problem is the purchasing power. Whether you have that capacity or the affordable capacity, even that makes us to choose some goods and services. For example, people want to buy some car, okay? Somebody who is very rich, and we will be talking about somebody who is earning a medium income and somebody who is a poor. Okay, right? So they have that want, right, to buy a car. Will a poor man thinks of buying a car? No. So what he will do? He will cancel because he cannot afford that. Yes, he cannot purchase the car. But whereas the person who is in the middle level or who is earning middle income, what he can do is he can think of buying the car, but he will not go for buying the luxurious car. What he will do? He will satisfy his want with some or the other middle-ranged cars. Right? He may even go for second-hand cars also. Yes? But whereas a rich, even he has some problem. What kind of problem? He has huge money in his hands. Yes? But he even has a problem. What problem? He has problem of choice. What kind of choice? He has problem of whether I need to buy a Lamborghini or whether I have to buy a Mercedes Benz. Yes. So even he has that problem of choice. But what he will do? He will satisfy his want with buying the car. Right. So that is also one of the problem which we can see here, which is purchasing power. And when we are talking about this purchasing power or the affordability capacity of a person, there comes two things. One which we have discussed here, right? So depends on the prices. As I had told, if he is able to afford that, or if the price of that product comes into his budget or falls into his budget, then he will look for that. Otherwise, what he will do? He will not look for those products. What he will do? Instead, he will choose. The choice differs, right? So, buying that product, what he will do? He will just drop it down and then he will look up for another product. So, that comes into picture. So, even prices of the goods and services play important role here for the consumer behavior. Next is the income, which is a major factor which we will say, right? Why it is called as a major factor is because without the income or without money in your hand, wherein we are getting it from the employment, yes, different kinds of employment we have, without the source of income, how we are going to satisfy our unlimited wants? That's impossible, right? It becomes little difficult for us. So, even the income of the consumer makes that decision. With that income, we will even understand the behavior of the consumer here. So these are the problems which comes under the consumer behavior. As I had told you, whenever you find the word goods, yes, it refers to both goods and services, right? So that's one thing which you have to keep in your mind. And in your textbook, what they have mentioned here is there are some assumption or the primary notations which they have mentioned. See, consumer, when we are talking about consumer or when I am talking about myself, it's not just me who is being limited to certain sources or the certain goods and services. I may have unlimited wants, yes, I may consume so many goods and services, but here, when we are talking about goods and services, they have mentioned here as two goods, okay? They have mentioned two goods which is x1 and x2. Okay, for you to understand it very easily and in a better way. So when we are talking about these x1 and x2, these are two different kind of goods. Okay, so these, when we combine these x1 and x2, yes, when we combine or the combination of these two goods becomes a combination of bundle. Okay, we say it a combination bundle, or just you can say it as a bundle. What is a bundle? Bundle means where two or more goods and services are being combined. That is called as the bundle or the combination bundle. I hope I have cleared all the points from this part. Next we have something called as utility. Yes, utility plays very important role in the consumer behavior. Why utility is playing an important role in consumer behavior is, this is that thing which makes a consumer to satisfy his want. So utility is a want satisfying commodity, right? If for me, if this marker is a want satisfying commodity, how is this a want satisfying commodity? I have this whiteboard, yes, but if I don't have a marker to write on this, then how I am able to write any notes on the board? No, right? I cannot write. So that is why I was in need of a marker or a pen or something, chalk kind of thing, where I can write something on the board. Yes, so this becomes my want satisfying commodity. The same way you will have some unlimited wants, right? So when you have those goods and services in your hand, so that those goods and services, if the want which you have is being satisfied, then those goods and services are called as the want satisfying commodity. Yes. Next, we say utility is an subjective in nature. Why we call it a subjective in nature? Yes, we were talking about this marker, right? This marker is only necessary in case of me, right? Do you need this marker? No, right? You don't need as much as I do. Yes. So this, why we are calling it here as a subjective is because the preferences, the likes or the goods and services which I have in my unlimited wants list doesn't mean that the same goods and services should be there in somebody's or the other people list also. So that is why we say it as a subjective, because it's totally based on individual preferences. Okay, so that is why we call it as the subjective. Best example of what I can say is, if somebody who is foodie, okay, somebody who wants to eat more or who is very fond of eating things, and somebody who is very diet conscious or health conscious, yes, their preferences changes, right? Somebody who is foodie, he will be always eating one or the other thing. But the same list what he has in his unlimited wants will not be the same of the other who is a diet conscious, right? So that makes the subjective differences. So that's what we call it as subjective. Next, this utility changes according to the places and the times. Why it changes according to the place and time? Best example is when the weather changes. Yes, from the summer to the winter to the rainy season, right? That we are talking about here the time. Okay, when it changes, the preferences to eat or to roam around changes, right? So when the for example, if we consider coffee, right? Do we prefer coffee to have coffee in the time of summer? No, right? We prefer to have more in the season of rainy season or the winter season. Why? Because it suits to the season. So the goods and the services even changes with the accordance to the time here, and also place. Do we need raincoats where it is very sunny in nature or very temperate zones? Or is it necessary we should have these raincoats, the umbrellas where it is heavily raining? You can make the difference, right? Where it is heavily raining, we need those raincoats raincoats or the rainwear or the umbrellas, right? But where it is not raining heavily, or the places where we find rain very rare or very in a low manner, what we are doing here, the preferences of those goods and services becomes less. So this utility has that quality wherein it differs from place and time. Okay, when we have discussed this utility, we have in this chapter they have given two approaches wherein you can understand how utility works and how it helps us to understand the consumer behavior. Yes, so we have two approaches. One is cardinal utility analysis. Yes. Second, we have ordinal utility analysis. Okay, these are the two different approaches wherein helps us to understand the consumer behavior. What is this cardinal utility analysis? See here, it assumes that the level of the commodity which we have utilized to satisfy our wants is being described in numbers. Okay? So whatever the utility I am satisfying or whatever the goods and services I am satisfying, that will be expressed in terms of numbers. For example, if I eat a banana, think that banana gives me 30 units. Okay? I am talking about these 30 units. I am not talking about one banana here. So I am satisfying my want with the help of that one banana. So that one banana is giving me 30 units of satisfaction. So that is what we are talking here under the cardinal utility analysis. And we also have measures here. Okay. Measures of utility. We have two measures here. One is total utility and second one is marginal utility. What is this total utility? Total utility depends on the quantity of the commodity consumed. Okay? Quantity of commodity consumed. And what is this marginal utility? Marginal utility comes into picture wherein you consume one extra or one additional unit. One additional unit. So when you consume one additional unit, what happens is there will be decrease in the total unit. Why there will be decrease in the total unit is because you lose interest, or that makes to lose the interest on the main product which you are consuming. So that is the change in the total utility due to consumption of one additional unit of the commodity. Right? Total unit utility means, I said, right, one banana I have consumed and this is giving me 30 units. Right? So 30 units is the total unit or the total utility which one banana is giving to me. Okay? And marginal utility is that when you had one banana, the total utility you had satisfied is 30 units, right? And when you have increased one more banana to next time, you consumed 2 bananas. Will this satisfaction be same? No. What happens? It it reduces. Yes? So the difference here is 2 unit. This difference is nothing but the marginal utility. Okay? So you are losing that interest how you are consuming more and more the same products. So that is what called as marginal utility. To understand better, we have example here. Okay, TU is total utility and MU means marginal utility. So these are the units. Okay, so when you have, let's say, 1 cup of coffee. Okay, when you have consumed 1 cup of coffee, you have satisfied entire utility. Yes, and there is no marginal utility because this is 0. And when you have had your second cup of coffee, right, you have got 18 here, yes, and here it has reduced, okay, it has reduced to 6, from 12 it has come to 6. And when you have had your third cup of tea, here, see, you can see that the diminishing, right? From 12 it is coming to 6 and from 6 it is coming to 4, right? So, however, how you will increase having your cup of tea, what happens is you start to lose the satisfaction. Okay? So, if you plot these all the points here, you will find here this curve. Okay? This curve decides or describes the total utility, whereas this curve describes the marginal utility. You can see that here it is increasing, and after certain a time, here it becomes constant, okay, and then it starts reducing. The satisfaction level starts reducing after certain point, and here also you can see that the change in addition of the one more unit or one more product of consuming coffee has reduced the marginal utility from 12 to 6 and then from 6 to 4 and so on. It goes on, and even it may come into negative also. So that's called as the marginal utility. I hope these points have been clear for you. And in the next class, we will be discussing more on the ordinal utility analysis.